Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, George W. Bush is getting a makeover in the American consciousness, very sadly. Meanwhile, his brother, who I think is satisfied will never get a makeover, is, however, still holding a bit of a grudge from his former mentee. That, of course, is Marco Rubio. And so Jeb Bush sat down. I don't know. I guess who is he talking to? Joe Kaiser? Where is this on for USA Today? And now, these things, like, you got to wonder, like, is there some assignment editor around USA Today going, hey, we need a Jeb Bush perspective on things? Or are the Bush people saying, like, oh, now's the time for us to hit Rubio? Remember, we're going to hit Rubio whenever we can hit Rubio. The agenda around the Bush family household is keep Rubio from getting the nomination because he screwed over the Bushes.
Probably the only time you can get this guy out of bed is to go insult Rubio.
Well, because he's too timid ultimately to criticize Trump.
Oh, yes, we will see that.
But here he is knocking Marco Rubio in the wake of, maybe not even the wake, in the midst of the debate in Washington as to whether or not we're going to deport hundreds of thousands of people.
God forbid you actually took on something that was controversial and paid a political price. That's the attitude in D.C. right now. It's not just, certainly Senator Rubio's no different than anybody else in that regard. And to have some senators break out of that and show that there could be political rewards by doing what's right would be really helpful for our democracy. So Marco is a talented guy. He understands this issue really well, and maybe behind the scenes he's working hard. At some point, his leadership would be really helpful.
Jesus, he can't even land that punch.
Right.
Oh my God, it's sad.
Somewhere,
low energy.
Nation of Islam Obama is going world star, baby.
It's going world not star.
Please clap.
Oh my God.
Please clap.
Jeb, you are pussy. Mama want massage.
This is beanbag.
Rubio cock you. Trump cock you. Mama cock you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I used to do this thing at Death and Taxes where I would read things said by Jeb Bush in the voice of a millennial with vocal fry, just to highlight how dumb he was. And I think I need to bring it back.
Yeah,
I would. That was a pretty lame swipe at.
Maybe Marco's doing it behind the scenes. Like, I don't know.
But
I would prefer bravery.
It's just hard to take him seriously when he sounds like that.
It's true.
It's hard to take any element of him seriously ever.
Yeah, but he kind of passes it off sometimes by speaking with this male voice of authority, or maybe not. Maybe I'm...
Jeb does not have male voice of authority. This is his mother. He is pussy.
How did Jeb Bush's mom, sort of filter through Nelson Mandela?
Nelson Mandela? No, that's all throw mama from a train.
I know, but you've picked up some
I haven't done that voice for a while.
Yeah.
I totally miss Jeb being molested by his mom jokes.
That's like the conservative model of sort of leadership is... It would be nice. I mean, nothing that they actually want.
Well, that's his polite, passive-aggressive way of saying he's not being a leader. He's not a leader. He's not a leader. And that's Jeb Bush undercutting Marco Rubio. Now, speaking of lame undercutting passive-aggressiveness and not having the cojones to actually take on a problem, here is Jeb Bush one more time on this USA Today, apparently. And again, remember, it's possible, I guess, that someone out there was like, hey, I know what would drive attention. Let's get Jeb Bush to comment on something.
He might literally have said, hey, we might get some traffic on the internet because shows will make fun of him across the political spectrum. A bunch of alt-right people will call him a cuck.
You're making a lot of money off
the left shows will drag him back up to relieve our anxiety about the world ending by making fun of him.
That could be the only explanation. The other explanation, again, would be that we got to get out there. Jeb has got every 6 months. He's got to go out and say something, and we'll get USA to do.
Hey guys, can I come back on do an interview again? I think Trump is distasteful. Boom.
Well, and remember, my theory always was about Jeb Bush that he was, in many respects, running to introduce his son, George P., to the political world, and ended up doing far more damage to the Bush brand than I think he ever could have anticipated. But here he is, ostensibly handing it to Donald Trump.
Who's the head of the Republican Party right now, in your view?
Well, it has to be the president. Well, I mean, he's not. He doesn't represent. I don't think he's a traditional conservative.
Not.
And I think ultimately, no matter what the outcome is of 2018, we need to start believing in our core values and principles again.
Pause it for 1 second. Pause it for 1 second. And this is the problem that Jeb Bush had during the debates and during the campaign. Largely speaking, there was no daylight on their core principles or core values. Right. Donald Trump got up there and said, I'm going to build a wall. And then Marco Rubio said, I'm going to build a wall, and my wall is going to be 6 feet underground too. And Jeb Bush was like, I'm going to build a wall as well. Mine's going to be super tall. I mean, that's the difference that they had.
I'm not going to use racial slurs while I do it.
Right,
that's
exactly.
the distinction.
Which is fundamentally not about core anything. It's just about style. Continue.
When you call Haiti, whether it's a S house or an S hole, whatever, I mean, it really doesn't matter. You disparage a lot of people that love this country, that are here making a contribution and making a difference. Why? Why do you do that? It's very frustrating. And it is racist to say what he may not be a racist, but the comments were racist.
Pause it. Now look, you see, first of all, I don't know. It's very disparaging. What are the core values in there? Like conservatives, one of the core conservative values is you don't disparage people. Really? Is that right?
Oh, you exploit Haitian labor, but you speak respectfully in a vague sense about it. But I want to kind of be a touch self-critical here. I think we totally called it during the campaign. We said the same thing. He's just doing overtly what the rest do with subtext. But now we're in the experience where we're being reminded that as petty and as trivial and as so bare minimum as it should be, that actually it does matter whether or not the president, even if they're utterly despicable, is also like overtly racist. It actually does have an additional effect on people. So it's like, it's just it's a depressing clip because I just want to kind of, dunk on him. But it's like, yes, if Jeb was president and he wasn't in addition to the horrific agenda he would be implementing, which would be the same as Trump's, but it wasn't like, saying what Trump is saying about Haitians, things would be minimally less negative.
There might, arguably with Jeb Bush, you may not have ICE rolling up people who have been here for 30 years or engaging in the type of really terroristic behavior that they're engaging in.
Or the groups who were talking about in the first hour feeling like they have an endorsement from the president,
right,
which they do.
Right.